Hi, I'm Kai Yoda. Welcome to the studio. I think I treat like my work like a human body or like a alive body. So when I'm painting, I feel like I'm putting maybe like makeup on someone's face or something like this. Or if I'm making like sculpture, I like something that feels almost like touching someone else, like flesh. Or it's why I use maybe like wood or wax or stuff like this. And I like to have like a multi-sensory experience. And I love to repaint from canvases that I worked from before. So maybe they're like from 1 year ago, 2 years ago, or 2 months ago. They travel like a bit like here and there, and it's a bit messy. It's also like dents and like marks and creases, and I like to like upcycle the material. For the color, like for the paintings I'm using, I love to work with like this brand called Williamsburg from like the US, and they're all made from like natural like pigments mixed with linseed oil, and it's handmade. And I don't know, I feel like it really brings like the colors that I imagine like into the work. And often the color comes from like my dreams, like mixed with like reality that I see. And I also like work with AI softwares that makes like some additional colors. And then I don't know, it's a bit like painting food maybe, like into the canvas. And I also paint a lot with my hands. And I don't clean so much like my brushes also, so they become like some weird like structure, like some weird like texture, and it does like strange things. And I think for me it's very like part of the process. And I like to walk on my canvas and I don't know, put some dust inside, and it's like very messy and dirty. And I don't know, I think I like how like it's clumsy and messy and still beautiful at the same time. And it's a lot of work that maybe is inspired by like an eye, and maybe it's like a mix of a human eye or like a planet in outer space, or like a horse eye, like an animal eye. So like this one you can see, and you can maybe like also see like here, like here, and then there's a bit like here, or like a bit like the whole thing. And that's like a doubling of, I mean, inspired by like a doubling of an eye, also about like a planet and I don't know, like a void at the same time. And it's also like everything is a bit like burning, or a bit like in smokes, or like in transformation, or like in decay. So I used to be a duo called 𝑇ℎ𝑒 𝐴𝑛𝑖𝑚𝑎𝑙 with my previous partner, Virginie Ita, for like 10 years. And we worked like mainly with a focus on like ecology, symbiosis, how we could like cohabit and live together and help each other, like with different species, like interspecies, with emphasis on working with technology and research and science, and a lot of like collaboration, something like this. And I was always interested in something that could become more than like yourself, or becoming more than an individual. And the tables, I'm making it for the food ritual that I'm gonna do at the show at Bremond Capela. And the shape is coming from an intuitive drawing that I was doing, and then I'm making it by myself. And I felt like this time it's kind of important that I do everything more or less on my own, and it's all like handmade. It's still in process, but it's gonna be like a mix of toxic things and nutritious things. And it's like a miniature of like a vision of a world I have, maybe that's in constant transition. And it's a mixture of precious materials like brass and glass and stones and minerals, with some more like industrial or cheap materials like plastic and 3D prints and things like that. For this show, I'm working a lot on reconnecting with my family, because I maybe had a difficult relation with my parents for like a while, and then now, I don't know, we're all getting older, and I feel like, I don't know, trying to care about each other. And maybe like this painting here, I'm painting inspired by my mother, and I don't know, I think it's like a gesture to bring her back to like the center of attention. I love to make works in like modules, and I often start with maybe like a fragmentation of the work. So like this one was inspired by a tree in Indonesia, in Bali, when I was doing a show with raw projects, and I was there for like 1 month making the painting of a frangipani tree that I saw in front of my studio. But then it became like, so first I just did these 2 panels, and then now it's like after 1 year I'm like repainting it. It became more maybe like a flower or like a flame or something like abstract, and then I added like a human, animal, mystic creature kind of chimera here, and then I added this one. So it's slowly like growing from this side to this side, and maybe I'll add like another panel in the future here, or maybe I'll reduce it, so it's like in constant transformation. And this one is also like a diptych, but it can be on its own. And I like when maybe the curator or the collectors, they like rotate the painting, so they change the composition. So sometimes I ask the curator to like do their own composition also, so it's quite like a free work in a way. Often I'm just looking at the work for like ages, but then I get into like a flow, and then I would just keep going for maybe 4 or 5 hours. And I love to work at night time because like there's less people, there's no one texting me, and it's in between like being awake and asleep, and it's like the most moment I can concentrate. And I think I need at least like 2 or 3 hours to get into like a concentration mode. And then it's like you almost forget yourself, and it's like automatic. I feel like I get very bored with my own work, and if I can hold like my attention for more than maybe, I don't know, like 5 minutes, then I feel like there's something there. And then I like to keep pushing it until it feels like it doesn't belong to me anymore. And then I think this moment when I feel like it's not belonging to me, it's kind of ready to be like shown. I went to see like a Prado museum last year because I wanted to see Goya's painting, and I think I'm interested in like when the artist can almost not see anymore. Like I think he was half blind like towards the end, or I don't know, they have some kind of disease, so they're not like fully functionable, but they still like make like their best work or something interesting. So I feel like I'm not like a fan, like a huge fan of like any specific artist, but I'm interested when they made some work when they had some kind of difficulties. For me, like to work with the people I feel inspired is like really important, because I never really know if I'm going like the way I should go, or where I want to go. I've been like a duo for like 10 years, so it's very scary and challenging to be on my own. But I'm really excited because I feel like the gallery believes in what I'm doing, and I'm free to do what I want to do. And then they're very like consistent with the communication, so it gives me like a structure. So I can't wait for the show to open.